What's up, guys? Edward the Ghost Guy here. We are back because TennoCon 2025 is over. This is the gameplay version of the convention, the reveal, and we're going to go through this today, and we're going to talk about what we see. A little sneak peek has previously showed us some downed Warframes that seem to be partially buried, and we see several of those here. It's interesting as to why exactly, because this portion of the video leading up almost seems to be more of a battleground training area. We have some kind of massive sentient being patrolling around and, searching. We have a Frost over there in the background. There was a Mag laying in the background. But an Excalibur Prime unveils itself, ready to go. And we're going to have a little bit of a stealth portion here, as well as some combat, which is very exciting. Now, one thing I want to say, I'm sorry, I don't care what you think. If you think I'm wrong, it will be revealed to itself at some point in time. Now, do not get your hopes up and think because you are seeing this trailer that we are all going to have the opportunity to get our hands on Excalibur Prime. Don't even think that's going to happen. If for some reason it does happen, holy crap, that's insane. But it's not going to happen. Digital Extremes has been very adamant. They are not going to take away the one exclusive item, well, Excalibur, the Lotto Prime, and the Skana Prime. Specifically, they are not going to give that out just to anybody because it is exclusive for the founders that supported the game in its early alpha stages to literally make this game possible. The one thing they have that nobody can have is this founders access stuff. Don't expect to get it. I cannot emphasize that enough. I would love it if we had it, but we don't. Get over it. I'm sorry. I had to say it. Here we go. If you're wondering, well, we're playing as Excalibur Prime, it's probably either for the cinematics and the enjoyment of the game, whatever, or it's, placeholder-wise. We're not getting access to it. I'm sorry. It's not happening. Now, the bow, on the other hand, I believe is the Daikyu Prime. So you can get that now. The Skana Prime, on the other hand, you cannot get. The Lotto Prime, you cannot get. The Excalibur Prime, you cannot get. Get over it. Anyways, so here we go. He's going to do his thing. He's going to eliminate some sentients. They're all trying to alert to the presence of this massive sentient. And when it does so, it gets mad. This is real gameplay, by the way. This was played live at TennoCon. And yeah, I'm sure that this is, because they always do it. It's Hunhullis. Hunhullis. I'm going to talk about that later, but I think that's important. Hunhullis. We have a massive sentient. And we're going to do a little bit of battle here. Alright. So this is actual combat, once again. Real gameplay. Definitely going to be, a little bit of a you know, process of figuring out what exactly we need to do, eliminating some parts of the enemy. Some new grapple mechanics, it looks like we are going to start being able to use on some bosses, maybe. That's exciting. Definitely the bosses in Warframe need work. In terms of just being bullet sponges, people are really getting exhausted with that kind of combat. So, stuff like this is a welcome change. They just have to find a way to do it. Oh, Excalibur getting knocked down. Get knocked down, and I get up again. Ain't no sentient gonna get me down. So yeah, real gameplay footage. Exciting. Once again, don't expect to get Excalibur Prime. Get over it. Giggling? What? Look at them claws. Very humanoid in nature. Very sentient in thematics. And what's this? A little itty bitty sentient?
Tenno. I win. You let.
Tenno? Okay. So they did get called a Tenno. That is something that I think is important.
Peace offer.
Oh. Now remember, we're in Tau. Very devastated area, looks like. Very cool operator with very cool cosmetics. Uh-oh. Where'd we go?
What did you see? Tau. But not enough.
Not enough.
This is the only way we find out.
Flooding their head with polluted histories. I won't. Come, Tenno. Let's get you dry.
It's okay, Lloyd. I have to. I want to.
Some things are best forgotten.
I had a friend, Lloyd. Like me. His name was Adis. Again.
All right. Anyone getting Stranger Thing vibes? Laying in a pool, you know, going to another realm, the upside down. Anyways, so we're traveling to Tau, somehow in a dreamlike state, using the Lotus to do so, and probably also some Entrati science, or maybe something Lloyd has come up with or whatever, but Entrati is obviously the, you know, the crazy genius. And it's the Entrati Labs. It looks, right? That was Entrati Labs. But the Lotus is helping us. I'm under the impression Lotus is pretty much doing it for our sake, but remember Lotus's ties to the sentience, and how much do you think, you know, she's doing it for herself? And maybe some of it is just to, you know, unravel the threads and, you know, I don't know, beat back the sentience in some way, shape, or form, but that is something that we do have to keep in mind as we go to Tau and deal with sentience, because we're going to see a lot more of that coming up here shortly. Especially the naughty sentience, because we have a friend named Adis in this, so we'll have to find out what that's all about. I do have a speculation about that, but we'll come up and talk about that later.
How late do we? Relax. We've got this.
Now, I'm stoked about this because
to carry the sacred light of our dominion
More ballast.
We have done. Swear now to defend this holy treaty alongside our blessed and brave creations, the sentients of Tau.
The Tauron Academy. So yeah, can you believe we used to be at war?
A place you'll learn about in this quest as to a time, a place, where
Grenier.
Sentient and Tenno perhaps learn things together that we'll explore in this demo. And they also perhaps did research together, including creating things that aligned Orokin and sentient technology, like the next Prime.
So here we have a little bit of a sneak peek at Caliban Prime, which I'm assuming we're going to get the same time this part of the event drops. We have Daklo, which is a little Ortis-shaped, you know, dealio.
Watch your mouth, void lugger.
Ah, please, please, with me. The place for conflict is in the dojo.
Look at him staring at us. I don't think he likes us.
Caliban Prime Axis is coming, and he is, of course, part of the history of you and the Tenno, a time when sentients perhaps were mentors and even Archimedeans. This is Archimedean Itzam, and he has something pretty important to teach the Tenno and sentient alike.
Once again, we have more Greniers, so we'll probably get a little bit of Grenier lore. Just a little bit.
Studying things, so let's see what's going to happen in this room.
Obviously patrolling the academy, but this is an academy, remember, so it is about learning, and I'm assuming it's like a military academy.
Have you adapted to the Tenno ways? When the applications of Tauron are applied to Naramon's theories, what is the expected outcome?
Now, before we help our friend cheat on his test, the Operator Remaster is also coming. You've probably noticed how wonderful the art looks.
Yep. Operator Remaster, very exciting.
So what you're seeing here is a completely remastered Operator, as well as using a Prime Access suit that's coming. And, you know, as you've played your focus and you've grinded it, maybe you've noticed you use a lot of sentient parts. So maybe there was a history there, and maybe the focus you know is only a piece of it. So maybe we'll learn about that a little later in the demo, though. But for now, Megan, you can help your friend cheat.
A new somatic connection.
A somatic connection new? Power increase many?
No cheating. If you are tested by the Seven, we must show your evolution to their...
And now we have an enemy faction attacking the academy. And we're going to see some Greniers getting into combat as well, because,
The job is on us to do so.
Yep. But we are here to protect the academy, transferring into our Excalibur Prime, which you cannot have. And we are going to work alongside the Grenier as well as our sentient companion to fight back against this faction. Now, as we do so, it is hard to tell if this faction is just a Grenier rebellious, faction of some kind. It does appear as maybe there is a Dax unit in the conflict. I'll see if I can point that out as we go. Oh, he's using the Kana Prime, isn't he? Yeah, so you hear some Dax right here. So I think that is definitely noteworthy. I don't know if this is the old war. It is called the Old Peace, the first event. So this could be just alluding to, the Tenno versus the Dax. So that's possible. But I do think we end up fighting like Grenier-like soldiers. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these are all Dax. But yeah, we got some interesting combat here. Yep, the Separatists look like Dax soldiers. So maybe, yeah. Maybe the Separatists are specifically Dax. So that would be an upcoming faction that we would fight against. we have some Grineer down here in the trenches. And we are going to see our little sentient friend come over here and actually restore the health of a sentient. So you'll notice too that this Grineer unit up here looks to be a commander of some kind, or maybe he's a medic, but you know, probably not capable of healing sentients. But he looks to be a bit more decorated than the average Grineer. Now, I wonder if that commander or that specific sentient will become like a NPC that we interact with later. But they did appear to have a name.
That was the old Macross cannon. Can you take it out?
Trust the we.
So here we go. We have some interesting combat coming up and all that good stuff. Once again, all gameplay, so very exciting. This, I do believe, is... now...
And the man in the wall continues. Don't you think it's time that we run on the wall again?
So she did mention the man in the wall continuing. We are getting wall running back and not just the leaping. A bit more realistic, but, you know. Man on the wall, I'm wondering if the man on the wall is playing his games here or is, you know, affecting things at this point. Has he influenced the Dax in any way? Has he influenced any Grineer? This specific Anarch Galastra appears to be Grineer. I could be wrong. We don't know a whole lot about the Dax outside of like their physical what appears to be male warrior. Actually no, because we do see Dax Varzia, is it Varzia, that does that was wearing the same Dax soldier's uniform that looked similar to Teshin, so she may or may not be Dax. That giant cannon that we tried to take out. Yep, so there's some more Dax. Seem to have a shield. So we're going to have to do something about that, which is going to tie into the new operator rework, which I'm stoked about because I felt like they needed some more adjustments, especially now that the power creep and all that stuff has happened. So, but here we go.
Focus expansion.
So this is pretty insane. I'm wondering how much of this is actually going to, like, it's like an ultimate. Can we do that whenever we want? Is there going to be a bar that we have to fill up over a significant amount of time?
Valder, my old pet. Better count your flock again, dog, and keep your ships on the ground. Else I'll be set to carving your lost lamb.
Yep, once again, she appears to be a Grineer. She talks to that individual like he was a subordinate, so she was probably a Grineer commander. We are seeing some interesting, like, glyphs and stuff on the the cave walls. Probably tied to the sentients and their creations and maybe the materials in this world or resources. We have this giant structure.
Cursed. Long ago, precepting.
Golden Cursed. So it looks to be an old Orican structure of some kind. The accents or the structure on the very top, it has a golden kind of Orican look, and just the line work just reminds me of the Orican stuff. Those, it's hard to tell. Those look a little bit more Grenier in design.
History taught in those Tenno schools, peace cannot abide the machines.
You're the only ones keeping this war alive.
Let me show you why.
Yeah, and she's insisting that the war is, being prolonged because they have some information or knowledge that we apparently don't have at this point.
A place to breathe.
Sounds like the war would be over if they, weren't fighting for something they truly believe in. And we're going to see maybe what that is. It's speculation, technically. We're seeing down here a lot of, almost tribal...
Of a home, so lightly surrendered.
Little, effigies. But I think we did see maybe the corpse of some sentients here hanging.
Let him go!
We do see some Grenier structures up there.
He's good and ready, child. Sentient TQ-776BL. Repel intruders.
And we have all these sentients keeping this one at bay, under the control of this separatist that we're talking to, and changing what we know to be a sentient from like a blue passive kind of threat level to a full-on red alert level and starts attacking us. So very interesting that we start fighting it, of course, being sentient, and we're currently allied with the sentients. Obviously a tool being used by the separatists themselves. And it sounds like this is kind of their way of trying to open our eyes up as Tenno or operators to the sentients. And maybe there's something that Orokin isn't telling us. We're combating sentience again. It's once again, it's all speculation from this point on, really, to why we're having this fight at all. Why the separatists or how the separatists were able to kind of... Yeah, I was gonna say, override this sentient and turn it hostile. It's a very awesome new design. I'm excited to fight it, but this is where we see kind of a revelation of some kind that is going to change our history, and we look like we heard the sound to transfer out, or maybe we lost our transference tied to the Excalibur itself. But among regaining our control of our Warframe, we whip out our exalted weapon and we kill this sentient that was trying to kill us. Now we turn back and we see that our friend Adis, sentient-wise, is disturbed by what we just saw, or what it just saw. We try to defend ourselves by saying, it's us or them. Which is true. But Adis casts aside his little mask. We see inside a bit more of a raw, sentient face, which is showing emotion. A sentient with emotions. Clearly not happy.
Sorry, I didn't want to. It was him or me. Him or me. I killed him, Lotus.
Now, that's a little bit beyond me. I do believe this is some sort of time traveling, pool or whatever that we were residing in, laying within it. And then maybe this is like between star chart and like time, so maybe this dials into a very specific location and time and space, and using this pool and the Lotus, we are able to transfer there, or our consciousness at least. So very, very cool. I wonder if there's any symbology in here that plays any relevance. There's tons of symbols, but probably, like I said, just pointing to specific places and time. But the old piece is the introductory quest that seems like it's going to lead into the Tau, which is of the full Tau release, probably going to be quests, missions, maybe open world tile set, but a separate location solar system wise, probably less planets or no planets at all, more of just like a large like not hub, but place in the star chart with many different, kind of like when we click on the railjack and it opens up and there's different points of interest that we can travel to or whatever. Tau might be like that, or it might be full, like, I don't want to say full open world, but it might be like a hub, and then we travel to certain spots. Ideally, and which I really hope could be the case, which is 100% unknown and purely speculative, is Warframe has wanted to, at least at one point in time, get to the point where it was, instead of open world, was full like open space, and we would travel with our railjacks to and from different planets and points of interest. Maybe it's possible that through a railjack or some sort of travel system, we will be able to at some point fly and travel to and from Tau, or throughout the Origin or the Origin system, in our railjack all over the place, and just maybe teleport, or like, I don't know, kind of like it saw how we launched our Warframe onto the planet. Maybe we will, from our railjack, launch ourselves onto planets to do our missions from now on. I say from now on, but in the future for Tau or whatever. So maybe that's when we arrive at open space. I don't know, very, very ambitious. But it is something that Digital Extremes, at least at some point in time, said that that was their goal. So who knows? I think Railjack is very fun. It just is kind of an island at this point, and you don't really have to interact with it. I don't know if they plan on forcing Railjack to be, you have no choice but to interact with it like all the time. But maybe they'll find a way to tether the two, where you can railjack a lot, but you don't necessarily have to railjack in order to get to every mission, every node, or whatever. But that is interesting. I am very curious to see what you guys think about that in this gameplay trailer. I have a little tidbit of speculation that I'm going to insert here, and we'll talk about that introductory fight and maybe who Adis maybe is. I hate that name, by the way, but Adis, let's see what that's about. All right, so you'll have to forgive me in the blurriness of this photo, but it's way zoomed in on this entity we saw here. That was in the reveal, or in the, at TennoCon. And what I found interesting is that there's a photo of this that I'm struggling to find online again, but I saw it on through Facebook on the Warframe ad. And this entity was referred to as Hunhullus, or Hunhullus, Hunhullus, or Ollus, or something like that. And I don't know about you, but that reminds me of this individual, Hunhao. Very, very similar spelling, and I couldn't help but kind of, look at the two and try to compare and contrast. And my thought is that maybe this is more of a ship or a mecha that we saw Adis come out of, and he, you know, confronted the operator during their little bit of a battle deal here, and I can't help but kind of compare the two. Now, obviously, over here you have this like ring-like looking shape. We have a few offshoots that we have over here. The head would appear to be missing over on Hun Hao's ship, but there is kind of a jagged upwards pointing deal. And then these arms may not be full arms or whatever. And then there's no lower half. So maybe it's just coincidence. Maybe it's just Orokin aesthetic. But I can't help but compare the two. I mean, we have, like I said, the rings. We have these offshoots. We have what looks like that could kind of wrap around and maybe be arms, which are not so much the case, you know, on Hun Hao's ship itself. But missing kind of a head, but there is kind of a deal here. And maybe just it would be the torso or the torso or lower half completely removed, or maybe it's just the aesthetic choices or whatever revolving around them. But part of me thinks that Hun Hao came to our solar system and got trapped, frozen, or whatever underwater, and got isolated there. Now, is it possible that just like Adis was piloting that mecha, you know, deal, is Hun Hao piloting this ship and he has a separate entity in some way, shape, or form? Or maybe not. Maybe this could be, you know, just a massive sentient, which sounds like it's a thing if you think about, you know, Lotus's mother, supposedly, the one that tried to consume the sun. But the idea is that maybe there's something there, and maybe, just maybe, that Hun Hao and Adis are literally one and the same. With what we saw in the trailer and Adis turned against us, Adis at least became resistant or hesitant towards us because of our actions defeating the sentient that turned against us, is maybe there was a moment there that, you know, that turned Adis on against the operators, and maybe that grudge lasted all the way up until a change of name and an invasion of, you know, the solar system we know. And maybe Hun Hao is Adis, maybe. Anyways, we'll get back to the other stuff and things. I just wanted to throw that out there. Anyways, with all that said, I am super stoked because we're going to learn more about the sentience, of course. We are going to learn more about the Orokin, what that academy is about. And we saw Ballas, probably, you know, was the entity that oversaw this entire production, because we do know that he was pretty much in charge of, among others, but for the most part, in charge of the Zariman and what happened with the Tenno. And it does sound like there's very little information we know, or pretty much no information we know about this part of our history, that we were used as weapons by Ballas for Warframes, which we understand and we knew, but to what degree, and the fact that we worked alongside sentients and we fought and did some sort of campaign, I guess, in the Tau system is completely unknown. So I'm so excited to kind of check that out and see what that's all about. And I'm mostly speculating that Tau, for the most part, is not going to be a nice, pristine new system that we're going to travel to. I'm assuming it's going to be significantly smaller than the Origin system, but I do believe that it is going to be like ravished by war or very desolate, and there's probably not going to be a whole lot of like cities or like civilizations. Maybe, I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe there's going to be a strong Dax presence there. Maybe there will be some established, I say civilizations, but kind of like we have Cetus, little areas among the system in some way, shape, or form. But it does look very desolate, and I was kind of assuming that. I didn't really think Tau was, I mean, I could be wrong. The Orkin wanted to go there for a reason. So anyways, I'm very excited to see what the future holds. Like I said, this quest is coming this year, and Tau is coming next year at some point. So it'll be a while before we get our answers, but I would love to see what you guys think down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to do a very similar thing with the Soulframe gameplay trailer because I am stoked for where Soulframe is going. It has made a huge improvement over what it was. And I'm going to be jumping back into the game fresh because of the last wipe I didn't play since then. So I want to check out the game again from the start and see how the game has grown. And I'm going to start covering Soulframe a lot more. So yeah, excited to see you over there. And if you haven't seen the other reveals for TennoCon, I made a video about that as well. So you can check that out. But I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully I will see you guys again in the next episode. Hello.